Okay, so today we're going to start going backwards of what we've been doing. So I've been giving you guys equations and then you've been typing them into the calculator and getting all that info. So today we're going to go backwards of that. Does that make sense? I'm going to have stuff, then you're going to have to figure out the equation. Okay, so we've seen this form, right? ax squared bxc, right? We've done that. Why did we factor? Why were we factoring? To find what were we doing when we factored every time? Anybody remember? Why did we factor these brackets and then we got the x-intercept? So does that make sense as an example? We've done that. And then we had this form. Okay, what's the difference between those two? Y is alone, okay, or Y was not alone. So you just have to move, right? Remember? Move that to get it alone. Okay, so here's what you would do. You would use this if we've been told something about an x-intercept or x-intercepts, right? And so what is the x-intercepts? We've been told x-intercepts, okay? And then we're going to use this kind of idea if we have vertex. Okay, that's it. We're going to use this if we have x-intercepts, and we're going to use this if we have a vertex. Okay, we don't ever start with this, but would you agree with me that I could easily do some foiling from grade 10 and get there? Okay, so here we go. Make an equation of a quadratic with a vertex. Ooh. So that's important, right? And a slope of 2. What does the word slope mean? Slope is that A piece. Okay, what does the A piece tell us? Up or down, flipping, or it tells us how wide or narrow those arms are. Okay, you kind of use that word slope in grade 10 when you talked about the line, because your lines could do what? Go up, or your line could go down, just like a parabola could go up or down. And the slope number also told you how steep or flat-ish the line was, right? Okay, so here we go. Which would I choose? Option 1, 2, or 3? When I've been told the vertex and the slope. 3. Okay, so I'm going to pick this one. Okay, so y equals a, what's the slope number, the multiplier? 2x, and we have to put the vertex in here. What's the vertex x value? 1. What does a subtract sign mean to do in a formula? Opposite. Remember, negative b, do the opposite. So if I see 1, I'm going to go subtract 1 and then subtract 3. So that's the vertex. Remember? Where's the vertex? Shifted 1 to the right, 3 down. Remember that? That's the connector piece. You guys talked about transformations last time. This means opposite, right 1, down 3. Okay, here we go. We're going to toughen this up. Now, this time I've been told a vertex and a point So guess what I don't know? I don't know the A value. That's not good. I don't know the A value, so I can't really go with an equation. Okay, so we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure out this A first. Okay, so here we go. A vertex. Do you know what letters, what position are they going to go in for? Should I put them in for what letters, the vertex? The H and the K. Those are the spots for the vertex. We've seen this last time. And any point, anytime you go to any point, it is called a XY. Because you can go to a bunch of points. How many vertex do you see on a parabola? One. Just one vertex. How many points can you see? Endless amount of points. Okay, so here we go. 1 equals. Where did I get 1 from? Right there. A, question, don't know. What did I say X was? 1 subtract 3 squared plus 5. All I did was labeled my things and substituted them in. Okay, how do we work this with bed mass? What should we do? I'm going to move that number over. Does that make sense why I would do that? Subtract 5. Can we do this in our calculator? It's fine. Can you go 1 or bracket? Do that. Go bracket. 1, subtract 3, bracket, squared. 4. And how do I get A alone? Divide by 4. Okay, so now you have to write the equation. How do you write the equation? How would you type it into your calculator? Y equals -1 bracket x subtract 3 squared plus 5. Because when you do type it into your calculator, you need a y equals, and you need to make sure you're typing it in with just an open x, right? Because now there's room for any coordinate to go in there. Okay, why don't you check that out? Can you put that into your calculators now? Put that into your y equals. Does your vertex look like it's at 3, 5? You're graphing. You need to see what it looks like. Graph it, or hit that in there, graph it. Can you do trace 3, enter? Just go trace 3, enter. Does it look like it's at 3, 5 on the top when you did that? Trace 3, enter. How about when you did trace 1, enter? Why don't you go trace 1, enter? Trace 1, enter. Does it go to this coordinate, 1, 1? That's supposed to be on your graph as well. Did it work out, our formula? Okay, good. Let's do another one. This time I've given you vertex. Okay, same thing, I've been giving you a vertex. Which 2 letters are we already picking? Vertex will replace what letters? H and K. And a y-intercept. oh, this is new. It's just a y-intercept. Really, the y-intercept is a point. Okay? It's a point. Oh, but that's weird because points should be written something, comma, something. How would you write a y-intercept as an actual point? 0, 5. Good. 0, 5. Okay, and every time we have a point, what letters associate with a point? X and Y. So what's the piece of information I don't know? I have no idea what this slope is, right? Okay, so here I go. Y equals, I'm just going to write this out again. Here's this little formula I have. Okay, here we go. Instead of y, I'm going to write 5. A has to stay in there because that's the thing I'm figuring out. X is going to be 0 minus 1 squared plus 8. Okay, make sure this goes in as opposite. So if I had -1 there, I would have had to write +1. This is always opposite. Do you see how I'm looking at a -1? And this is +1. This is the same. Remember, we wrote this on our cheat sheet last time. 8, 8. Same, same. Okay? Opposite, same. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go subtract 8. Move that over. That's our algebra stuff. Subtract 8. Calculator, can you go bracket? 0 subtract 1 bracket squared. Some of you might be challenging yourself to do that in your head because that is something you could do in your head. Did you get 1? Bracket 0 subtract 1 bracket squared. It should be 1. Divide by 1, or you don't really need to even do that, right? A equals -3. Okay, now we're going to type this in our calculator. When we type in our calculator, we like to go y equals, right? And then we like to now leave the x open. So we're going to go -3 bracket. I got to follow this. -3 is now there. X, what did we write here? Subtract 1 squared plus 8. So the information should tell us the slope multiplier and the vertex when I'm looking at that. I know those things. Okay, new question. This time I said the x-intercepts. And a y-intercept. Okay, ready? I'm going to go back to the top here. What did we talk about? I was told the x-intercepts this time. I'm going to use this one with the factors. Okay, if your x-intercept was 2, what was your factor bracket thing all about? What would you have put in your brackets? X subtract 2. Right? We're working backwards of what we did last unit. We factored last test. factored to get the x-intercepts. Now I gave you x-intercepts, think about the factors. If the x-intercept was -6, what was the bracket factor? X plus 6. Also, how did I know I should write the opposite things in my brackets? The formula told me to. You're going to get this. What does it say? Subtract r. Opposite. Okay, so here we go. Y-intercept. What does a y-intercept tell me? What kind of info does it provide? A point. So every time I write a point, it should technically be something comma something. So 0, -24. And a point is always telling me what letters? X and Y. Hey, what's the thing I don't know? I don't know the A. So kind of see a theme? You're going to have to solve for the A, right? Okay, I'm going to go to the formula, and I'm going to replace. So here's what we're doing. Y. What did we tell ourselves to put there? -24. A. For x, I told myself to put an x as a 0. So 0 and 0. That's what I told myself to go with the x. Opposite the r, what's the opposite of the x-intercept? I should write -2 there. What's opposite of this x-intercept? +6. Okay, does that make sense when we factored? Okay, -24 equals A times, do you want to do that in your calculator? You can go bracket 0 subtract 2, bracket, just, you can literally just type that into your calculator as is. Okay, challenge yourself. I could do that in my head very fast. What's this bracket times this bracket? Or you can just type it in because you have access to your calculator, that's fine. Did you come up with -12? Divide by -12, divide by -12, therefore the A equals 2. Okay, how do we type into our calculator? What's the equation we want to type into our calculator? Y equals, now we have the A, so we're going to go 2. What do we always need to leave? X minus 2, leave X plus 6. So every time we finalize our equation, we're going to put everything in there except for we always leave X and Y open when we type in our equations. Okay, give me that type. Go ahead. Get it into your calculator. Push Y equals. Put that in there. Okay, so here's what I know I should be seeing based on what the equation told me. I should see an x-intercept at 2. Does it look like it's doing that? And -6. And it told me the y-intercept was -24. You probably might not see that on your screen just because of the window thing, right? But if you changed your window, would it show that? Okay? Do we look like we're fitting that criteria when we graphed it? Okay. 2 more, I think, to go. Right? No? 2 more. 2 more. Okay. Here's the info. I have an x-intercept of 5, but it's also the vertex. And we have a point. Okay, so I'm going to go with the point first, because every time you have a point, the letters are x and y. The x-intercept is also a vertex, so I'm going to treat it like a vertex, which gives me an h and a k. When I have a vertex, I'm going to use the h, the k thing, right, from the top. So as soon as I have a vertex, I'm going to be using h and k. Oh, but that's just an x-intercept of 5, so how do I actually write it as a coordinate? X-intercept? 5 and 0. All right, so I'm going to be following this format again because HK, that's my vertex stuff. All right, so now I'm going to go y, -4. A, that's the thing we don't know again, right? A. X, what do you want to put in place of the x? 3. Opposite here, so subtract 5 instead of a positive 5, squared plus 0. Would you be okay if I did a little scratch off that plus 0? Is that okay? You need to get that number for me. And you can do bracket 3 subtract 5, bracket squared. Four. Divide by 4. And then my A is -1. So, final answer. How would you type this into your calculator? Y equals, multiplier is -1, x, right? We have to leave x in our calculator. What did we write behind the x number? Subtract 5. Okay? And that's it. You can write plus 0 if you want. Doesn't do anything different though, right? So nothing, or if you wrote plus 0, I'm not going to deduct you, but. Do you guys understand what that would look like? What about this idea? Because the x-intercept and the vertex is at 5 and -1. Means what? Flipped. Okay, last question here. Okay, so this time it gave me x-intercepts. Oh, these are the really easy kind, because guess what it gave me? Slope. So we don't have to figure out anything. Woo -woo. Okay, sorry, probably won't get that on a test. That's too easy. I always kind of make you figure out the A. Okay, I'm going to pick which form. Do you remember? You know what I think I did? I hated using an S. I think I changed it to a Q or something. You know why I hate using an S? Because it feels like it looks like a 5 half of my time. Okay. We can already go ahead for our equation. Y equals, guess what? We know the A. -1. We leave the X alone. X always goes into our calculator. And what do I do with these x-intercepts? Why does it say subtract R? What does that tell me to do? Opposite. So instead of 10, all right, subtract 10. Instead of 2, all right, subtract 2. Okay. We're going to make this equation into all 3 formats. Okay? So this one is called factored form. Does that make sense? Why it's called factored form? Because when you have brackets like that, that's factored. Okay, how am I going to get this? I'm going to do general form. So I want to get this into ax squared bx c. How am I going to do that? I'm going to FOIL. Okay, how do you FOIL this from grade 10? What are you going to do? What's the first thing times the first thing? X squared. What's the outside item times this outside item? -2x. Inside. And what does the last make? Plus 20. Okay. Almost. What do I now have to consider? After you've FOILed that, what else is happening to the FOILed part? Now it's getting times by -1. Okay, that looks like an ax squared bx and c now, right? Look at that. This equation and the other equation are the exact same equation. So if you typed one into your calculator and the other into your calculator, you wouldn't know the difference because they're overlapping each other. They're the same. Okay, go ahead. Calculator time. Yeah, and then when you come back, we'll do the thing. Go ahead, type whichever one you want into your calculator because it doesn't matter. Go ahead, type one of them in. Okay, I know you should look like this. You should have something intercepting at 2 and at 10, and the -1 makes it flipped. Does it suit those properties to you? Okay, so here's my next thing I want to do. Can you figure out the highest point on this thing, the vertex? Okay, use your past stuff. What do? Calculate max, left enter, right enter, third enter. Can you do that? You have to do that on your calculator right now. What is that top max point, the vertex, going to be? My prediction is 6, comma. I don't even have my calculator here. Is it 6, comma? No, it's not 7. Is it? That would be bad if it worked out like that. 16. Okay. All right. So same equation. Can you write it now in vertex form? So I'm going to show you what you need to make it look like. Okay, so this time I'm saying, can we write it in vertex form? Okay, so you always leave y equals, and you always leave x. These always have to be left alone without numbers when you finalize it. Okay, because that's how we type it into our calculator at the end. What was our a number? What was our multiplier? We already had it? -1. What are you going to replace those vertex numbers with? Because we just figured it out. We should go -6, opposite, and plus 16. Okay, this equation, and this equation are the exact same equation. We just changed them all to be to the different forms, but they all are the same thing.